What I tell parents often is that there'll be somebody in the facility you'll click with. Sometimes it's a therapist, sometimes it's a doc, sometimes it's a nurse, sometimes it's one of the guys in environmental services that you just click with. And that person helps you see joy in your child, and then you start to see success, and you'll always equate that person with that success that they achieved. And it creates a bond. It creates a bond with the facility, it creates a bond with that physical individual, whether it's a therapist or somebody else. And that connection is something that both the treating caregiver and the parent and child hold on to as part of the joy that happened in this otherwise awful time period. We had a little girl who lived in our nursing home who had a traumatic brain injury, and she had this vacant look always on her eyes, and we couldn't connect with her. Not the nursing staff, the therapists, we just couldn't get through, although we knew intently, we knew she was in there. And the guy who, our kids in our nursing home go out to school every day and they come back in. And so the security guard would watch her come off the bus with her caregiver, her nurse, and bring in, and for whatever reason, he made some laughter or some joke, and she looked at him, she caught his eye. And so we figured out that there was some type of connection between him and her. And so we figured out, one of the nurses told one of the other staff person, and as things happen in very small organizations, all of a sudden we had a plan. And so we arranged that when she came off the bus during the day, he would do his rounds through the hospital to make sure everything was safe, but he would take her with him. And through that exchange, she started to come to life. And he was the first person who she actually made a verbal sound to, and then we worked on that in speech, and then she began to sing, and then, all of a sudden this whole thing came out of this one small connection that he had with her. Clearly that was not in his security guard job description, but that's part of the responsibility of working at Children's Specialized, is that every person, regardless of where you are, has a responsibility that when you have a chance to help, whether it's a child or a parent, that you step in and that you do that. And even if you don't have the skills technically to do that, we're gonna figure it out, because that could be the breakthrough time. And this little girl, made so much progress that she left the nursing home and now is living someplace else that's more independent, and that she's thriving. And I don't know that that would have happened if it hadn't been for that interaction. So they do touch your heart, and they're supposed to touch your heart.